What an absolute privilege to be chatting to you, Greg, all the way in Los Angeles. We are so grateful to you for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat to Loui and myself here on Kollig on Kaapstad Radio. Thank you so much. Please tell us, what have you been busy with of late? Because you surely have been a busy man.
Hey, ladies. Hey, Cape Town. Thank you so much for this incredible opportunity. I am so excited to be speaking to you all and just sharing the journey and sending you lots of love out of Los Angeles. I must say, I miss Cape Town so much. Also, excuse the croaky voice. I need to do a lot of shouting on set recently. So if I do sound a little bit strange, no, now you know why. But yeah, I have been super blessed, super busy. I just recently finished on my sixth film for the year and a couple of TV series. So on the acting side, it's been incredibly exciting. And actually today I'm on the shortlist for, I wish I could disclose the information, but it is legitimately one of the biggest Oscar-winning Hollywood directors. I'm on the shortlist for a big movie happening next year. All I'm allowed to say is it has to do with World War II. So that's been incredible. And with my production company in South Africa, we are busy finalizing and packaging and gearing up to shoot a sci-fi anthology feature film called The Other Side. That's been doing really well in the circuits in terms of our first section of it. And then on the acting side, this year's just been incredibly blessed doing a couple of different projects ranging from war films, one of them including Arnold Foslow, Western sci-fis. It's been such an interesting journey since leaving South Africa. But yeah, for updates on what's coming up pretty soon, feel free to check out my IMDb. That's the Internet Movie Database, under my name, Greg Kriek, Gregkriek, just for updates to stay in the loop. But yeah, it's been incredibly blessed and busy year in the face of COVID, which has been such a challenging time, and I am super grateful.
Wow, Greg, that's absolutely amazing. We most certainly will be rooting for you from this side. And please do share the news as soon as you can share more. And for all our listeners out there, please do check out Greg on imdb.com to keep up to date what is happening. You're a man wearing many hats: actor, producer, director, and I know you've been making many waves on the filmmaking arena lately. Please fill us in on all the phenomenal awards, the experience it's been transitioning from actor to producer, director. We would love to know more about that.
It really has been an interesting journey for me, transitioning, between these multiple hats of producer, actor, and director. Interestingly enough, I did start as a director for Top Billing years ago, which ironically opened up doors for me to start producing. And then it was upon returning from the United States for the first time when my mom was diagnosed with cancer. She's gratefully in remission and still with us today. But at the time that I needed to kind of put a pin in my producing career in the United States and return to South Africa to take care of my mom, that's kind of when the acting came together. So yeah, it's been wonderful just kind of like, looking back over the journey of how God connects the dots. And I guess the long and the short of the transition between the different hats has just been to educate myself in terms of all aspects and all parts of the industry. It's just such an incredibly important, I find, an incredibly important thing to have more ownership, especially for artists, especially for actors, where, a lot of our job is dependent upon other people's creating work for us. In terms of my specific journey, I just realized, having an honors degree in economics, and just having, an aptitude for working in front and behind the camera, it's just been an incredible journey.
Sorry to hear about your mom, Greg, but yes, amazing that she's in remission. And in terms of making things happen within the industry, I think it's absolutely wonderful when you can wear so many hats. And it really is a time of making one's own way, to just keep on working hard and working towards those goals. So well done on that.
Hi, Greg. Welcome to Kaapstad Radio. It's such an honor to have you on our station, and thank you so much for your time and your effort. I'm an absolute huge fan, and we are Facebook friends. I don't know if you know. Um, and I mean, wow, you've got over 70 international screen acting credits. So, and you're an award-winning actor. I want to know, like, honestly, our own Brad Pitt, what was your favorite movie of all time?
Hey, Loui, so great to hear your voice. Thank you so much. It really really is such an honor to be part of this. And as a proud Cape Townian, my mother city, the city I was born in, yeah, it's really really so awesome to be part of the show. And congratulations on all the incredible work you're doing to just keep the whole community inspired, people informed, to bring people together. It really really is an honor to be on the show. And also appreciate the vote of confidence. In terms of like my best movie of all time, I wish I could give you one title. I can give you a few, because like for me, each movie is always such a special project. Sometimes it's the best experience of your life. Other times it's movies that, taught me lessons. But I got to say, yeah, there are a couple. Like my first movie that went to the cinema, that was my first leading role, my first movie ever was Born to Win. That was special because it was just the first fruit of a career. And since then, I've been grateful that like since my first movie, I've been able to shoot at least 7 movies a year. Even during COVID, by God's grace, which has been phenomenal. But yeah, Born to Win, for sure. The Recce was just a career milestone in terms of putting in a lot of work. Momentum was my first international feature, with Morgan Freeman. Then I would say for sure Rogue, with Megan Fox. It was great having top 3 billing with Megan Fox and such a big international feature. But so many, from Maze Runner to Black Mirror. It's too tough. Like each of them are so beautiful and unique in their own rights. And as many people will realize, like even just getting to make a movie is such a miracle. It's such a dream come true, and one that I'm super super grateful for.
You made a very emotional post on Facebook the other day, which I would like to hear more about. Can you tell us about your childhood and stuff like that?
Thanks so much for that. The response to that recent Facebook and Instagram post has been phenomenal. I got to be honest, I was a bit hesitant to share that post. But in a nutshell, the post was about my childhood and about being fatherless and coming from super super tough circumstances, and the fact that my identity, before really getting to know God, was all based upon achievement and trying to prove myself to society, until I really realized that for all of us, we can be sons and daughters if we don't know who our biological parents are, or if we've kind of grown up like an orphan. None of us come from perfect homes, but for those of us who've endured abuse or who've come from specific and tough backgrounds, there is hope. And for me, my turning point was when I really moved over from being an orphan in my mind, and from moving away from being a victim to realizing that I'm a son. I am a son of God, and realizing that being a child of God, we're no longer orphans then. We are adopted into his family. So the post in a nutshell was about that, a lot of us have tried to kind of outperform, outwork, prove our existence, but we still kind of living like slaves on the inside in our minds. But there is this beautiful place, which is the good news, that we can be sons and daughters no matter where we come from, and we can choose, and we can really go and find out who we are, and change our lives accordingly.
Tell us about young Greg. What did you want to be when you grew up? And has your path materialized how you envisaged? We would just love to know all about your journey.
Oh, I love that question about young Greg, and it's actually it's very special to hear that question, because I must admit, and I hope for all the listeners as well, that journey to revisit what our inner child and what our younger versions dreamed about before the world got crazy is such an important question. And in my case, little did I know after being young Greg, how much life would be thrown, how many obstacles and how many spanners would be thrown in my life, as for most of us, having to go through a lot of hardships and tragedies. But yeah, when I look back and I think back to young Greg, he absolutely was a dreamer, a boy who believed that things were possible. And you know what? I got to admit, look, looking at my life right now, and the life that I'm blessed to live, I'm just so utterly grateful for younger me, in the sense that it was a boy who always had a dream. And when I look at my life now, and especially how the world's changed with COVID, and having faced a tremendous amount of loss, I've lost 9 people in the last 2 years, my closest family members, in an unpredictable way. And if there's one thing I have, I might not be the most talented, the most hardworking, or the most good looking, but one thing I have is I still hold on to my God-given dream. And that was young Greg, a boy who believed that, despite the hardships we go through, or no matter environment, or no matter the environment in which we grow up in, by being bold enough to dream, magic can happen. And that's what I'm super grateful for when I think back to young Greg.
There's something I just have to share with the listeners out there, and that is that I met you quite a number of years ago now. And what struck me even then, I mean, you were up and coming, you were already quite recognized in circles. And you were so humble, so down to earth. And what is just so incredibly refreshing is you are still that same amazing down to earth person, ready to give your all. And would love for you to just share with any aspiring actors, directors, producers out there, what it means to you to stay grounded, and what it means to you to look at this life as a job that you are doing, because that is what I see from you. This is not about the fame. It's not about look at me. It's about giving your best. And I know that you work on projects that mean a lot to you and that have a certain message. Please share more of that with us.
Ah, Martez, that is such a beautiful, beautiful question. And, I really, really appreciate you identifying that and recognizing that. And I have to tell you, and I have to tell all the listeners today that, I believe no matter what you do, staying grounded is absolutely 100% the key to everything. In terms of my personal journey, I have come to realize that life is so short. In an instant, I'm sure for so many of us, life can change. We do not have control over the future, and we cannot guarantee tomorrow. And I got to be honest, I'd be lying to you today if I didn't say that I come from very difficult circumstances and a background that most people wouldn't know about. Like, miracles happen in my life to be able to be where I am today. I came from nothing, and I came from a very, very broken home. And one thing I learned, but I'm also so grateful that I had many incredible mentors and people in my life who were angels, and the common denominator in all of their lives, and the wisdom that I could gain and gather from them was that humility is the key forward. If you can remain humble, and humility to me is an attitude. It's an attitude that says the world does not owe me anything, but I'm going to make the most of what I have in my hand. And staying grounded for me is everything, because at the end of the day, and especially in the film industry, I don't think there's any place for ego, because at the end of the day, we're just doing a job. It's an incredible platform, absolutely, to inspire people and to inspire the world. But at the end of the day, it's still a job. And being able to just stay grounded no matter what you're doing is such a gift, because at the end of the day, we are all human beings. We are all doing the best we can with what we have. And I think living that message instead of speaking about it is just so key. And in my life specifically, it's just opened so many doors. And I got to be honest, like as an actor, as a performer, and as a storyteller, I believe that, you can't give something that you do not have. And I believe that when people put themselves on a high pedestal and separate themselves from, humanity, they're making a big mistake. I love learning about what it means to be human. And I'm super grateful that in my life, I've gotten to experience all kinds of things. I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to work with the poor, but I've also rubbed shoulders with the richest of the rich. And I'm just so utterly grateful that I've been on an adventure in life where I've been able to see both. But absolutely, humility, the attitude, the stance, the position, the decision to be humble is the key to everything.
Greg, life in LA, what is that like? What is the film circuit like compared to what you've experienced here? I know it's very different, and of course everything happens in Hollywood, but we'd just love to hear more about your personal experiences, the people that you've met, and any advice you can give to any aspiring producers, directors, actors.
I sometimes have to pinch myself, thinking about the fact that it was literally just the other day that I was still out in South Africa and in Cape Town. And, the great thing is that, my ideal is to be able to build a home and a life that's both in South Africa as well as in LA. But right now, the last couple of years, especially because of COVID, like Los Angeles has been my home base. And what is life in LA like, and what advice can I give to aspiring actors and producers and directors? Well, LA is, I don't know how else to put this, and someone described it very well to me before I moved here, was that Los Angeles is like the Olympic Games of entertainment. And it's a humbling process, let me tell you that. Like when I came over to LA and was blessed enough to get a work permit to be able to work here based on my acting in South Africa and the American projects that I was able to do there, it was just such a major shift. But that's exactly what I wanted, because I came over to LA not to just seek fame and fortune at all, but to grow, to be in an environment where you're working with the best of the best, with the world's best. And that legitimately has been the case, where, in South Africa, I always made this joke, sarcastically, that like Steven Spielberg called, and everyone would kind of do that in a sarcastic way. But, being in Hollywood, like name dropping and seeing and working with the best of the best is absolutely the norm. And it's been incredibly inspiring for me to be able to grow. I have grown so much. Growth was my main goal coming over here. And I have grown so much as a human being, so much as an artist, and in so many other ways. And it's extremely humbling, right? Because, out here, no one is going to come and spoon feed you. Like the level of work that you need to put in to just even getting an audition is insane. So my advice is, and that was the journey for me. And, this was advice that someone gave to me right in the beginning before I even qualified to come to the United States, was first focus on doing the best you can in your local environment. If you can conquer the local arena, and this is for anybody, focus on doing what you can at home first, and then the path will reveal itself. I had to build up a career in South Africa first and do the best that I could for me to be able to qualify for my green card, based on acting as, a merit-based green card based on my acting. And that took some time. So, my advice is to be patient. If you have a desire to come to the United States, work accordingly. Become the best you can in your local arena, and then build up your credits from there. And definitely some practical advice once you've once you've built up a career in South Africa and are feeling confident, definitely seek advice from an immigration lawyer. And yeah, my biggest advice would be, despite all the logistics and the practicality, if you have a dream, go for it. Like, you have to. Like, everyone's going to tell you no. Everyone's going to be a naysayer. But I've found in life that, it's especially when people say no, those who can stomach and handle a no and go for their dreams anyway, they are the ones who are going to make it.
Tell us about your training. Have you done any formal study, attended many workshops? Do you often brainstorm with fellow actors? When you are preparing for a film, how do you go about that? Do you have think tanks? Do you do cold readings with your co-stars? How does all of that work generally for you?
Martez, that's such a great question. Yeah, absolutely. I actually have an honors in film producing and an honors in economics, but I never had any formal acting training. And what I soon came to realize, and basically a choice that I made early on, was that acting was always going to be a lifelong journey and a lifelong career. And that's the beauty of also being outside here, or out here in LA, is that artists absolutely get that. Like, my training specifically is ongoing. I would lie to you if I said that I knew exactly what my specific method is, because I feel like every specific role has its own unique set of challenges. And I continuously train, in the sense that if I'm not on a movie set, then I try and go to a scene study class. Today, there are so many options online with fantastic classes and coaches all across the world. And to make it basic for those who are aspiring as well, definitely see if you can find a good scene study class, or a cold reading class. But scene study specifically is the one type of class all over the world where you get to put everything into perspective and get to grow and to learn and to play. And that word right there, play is so important, because often on a movie set, the pressure is so intense that we don't have that kind of like space and that margin to be able to kind of make a mistake, because of time being money and a professional set being so intense. But I encourage a mindset of lifelong learning. And if you can't afford classes, there are literally, I know this sounds crazy, but I literally did this when I didn't have a cent to my name and I wanted to pursue a life in film. I used to go to the library, the local library, and start by reading books about acting and film producing. And all that costs you is a trip to the library, and taking out books for free. And today there's so many incredible resources on Audible, on masterclass.com. If you're on Facebook, to literally go and Google and search for acting classes in your local community. I think there's just so many options these days. So for me, the combination of informal and formal training, as well as building a community of actors around you, I often do that as well. A lot of my colleagues and friends who are in the industry at different levels, to connect with them and to help each other with scene study and auditions, and to do that thing, it's crucial. But to sum up everything, having a mindset of that acting is going to be a lifelong journey. As you grow as a human being, so are you going to grow in your art, and to continuously learn. And that's the incredible thing. When you look at the greats, especially out here in LA, they continuously train.
Coming back to that humble statement I made earlier, I mean, this is quite something phenomenal. You are officially South Africa's most internationally credited actor in your category. I mean, that is absolutely phenomenal. You are the leading man in the Emmy-winning The Serengeti Rules, the Oscar-nominated Incognito. You won Best Actor in a Feature Film for The Recce at the KIFF with Emmy judges. And now you've got top billing as Mike Barasa with Megan Fox in Lionsgate's upcoming action thriller Rogue. Wow, tell us about that. What was it like working with Megan?
Thanks so much for that, Martez. I'll have to call you on a rainy day to boost my ego if I feel down. No, it's been a crazy, crazy journey, and I must admit, like getting such an incredible opportunity to work with the likes of Megan Fox it was a dream come true, man. It was really nuts to get to be top billing with Megan on a Lionsgate studio project. Was a dream come true, and I have to admit, like what was crazy for me is, Megan, I think is portrayed one way in the media, but like having spent like almost a couple of months with her on sets, I got to see a different person. And, she taught me so much. There is just something about being a star and that star quality. And I found her to be an incredible, generous, amazing human being who absolutely cared about her co-stars, who went the distance by committing to everything that she did and led the charge. I think there is something about being the star of a project, and she just handled it in her stride. And also, what was really cool specifically about her was she wasn't afraid to make a mistake. She took everything in her stride. She was super committed. She was super kind to me and my co-stars, and I only have the best things to say about her.
You've worked with some really big Hollywood screen legends such as Morgan Freeman, Billy Zane, Rutger Hauer, to name a few. Please share with us more of the incredible actors that you've worked with, and what was it like being with them on set? How did you feel working with them? We'd love to just get inside your head for a moment, the thought that went through your head the first time you booked a role opposite a screen legend. How did that feel? What was your thought process? How did you handle the situation?
You really are asking all the right questions. Man, hey, it's such a cliche when one mentions the term a pinch me moment. But that legitimately has happened to me so many times where it's an absolute pinch me moment in the sense that it just doesn't feel real. You got to understand, I am just an average Joe from South Africa, grew up in humble beginnings. And, when these moments came around, it wasn't easy for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was not easy for me. I was very intimidated in the beginning. And the thing that kind of and I've had to revisit that over and over again because, you're sitting there, you're rocking up on set with these people that you've seen on TV and on the big screen, like growing up, and all of a sudden you're in a makeup trailer next to some of your legends, like that you've grown up watching. And for me, it's actually been an incredible journey. Just that I've been very blessed to work with literally some of the world's absolute biggest stars. And for me, the kicker in terms of dealing with a situation like this was just absolutely realizing, and I believe this, that if you get booked for a part, like, and in my case, I believe it's absolutely a blessing and favor from God. My mindset is one of, and this was the only thing I was able to do to get over myself, was to realize that if God picked me to be in this moment on this set at this particular point in time, then who am I to come in the way of that by my own insecurity or my own fear and my own, being scared of messing up. So once I started stepping into that confidence, in the sense that, you know what, I'm here now. By God's grace, I was picked to be here. That's when I started stepping into my own. And the other thing is, someone said this before, sometimes you've just got to, you've got to realize that they are just people, and they are, and to trust that process. And I think this is something for all of us, is that believe in yourself. Choose to believe in yourself, because if you can't believe in yourself, it's very difficult for other people to believe in you.
Tell us about your experience on Samson, directed by our mutual friend Bruce McDonald, who owns Boomtown Films here in Cape Town, along with CJ. Would love to know more about that, and tell us also about your other projects here in South Africa. I know you are known basically for Born to Win, which is also on Netflix, and Mansus My Pa, Last One's Out, Tula Tula, Deep End, and then of course that international award-winning The Recce.
Oh man, I have such incredible memories. Samson was also an incredibly big milestone for me. It was so awesome. It was quite a fight to get that movie. But I was super grateful that I had the likes of Bruce McDonald, an incredible director and human being in my corner who really fought for me to get the role. And the beautiful part of it was I get to play Samson's younger brother, Caleb, and also the whole movie was out of the perspective of this character, of this character of Caleb, and also got to narrate. And obviously, Samson's such an epic biblical story, and it's so awesome as well that this movie was shot in South Africa. A story that the whole world knows, a big biblical epic. It was awesome for me. I definitely a coming of age moment as well, in terms of doing a film of that scale, and working with so many incredible legends. It was a dream come true. And also, just to your point of just some of the other incredible local projects that I got to work on. It's been one of the greatest joys of my life to be able to do what I love, to be able to grow, to be able to do so many different characters, to be able to learn about people first and foremost, to be able to learn about history, and to get to, again, for me, what makes me come alive is being able to tell stories that really do have the potential to change the world, to be able to step into the shoes of another human being, explore what it means to be human, and hopefully in the process get people to um, and to challenge their own thinking that can hopefully lead to positive change in terms of the actions that they'll take.
And you're from Cape Town, obviously the most beautiful city in South Africa. How often do you come and visit us? And if you do come visit, you have to come to Kaapstad Radio Studios. Please, 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 we will be so honored.
Oh man, couldn't agree more. Cape Town, hands down, the most beautiful city in the world. Like, there's no debate. That is what it is. The end. So I miss it so incredibly much. The last years have been pretty difficult, just with everything going on. But I absolutely try to visit at least once a year. But my goal is to definitely be able to build a life where it's more of an even split between South Africa and the United States. The last whiles, obviously, things have swayed in a different direction. But oh man, I'm a proud Cape Townian. I'm a proud South African, and still have so many friends and family out there. I love it so much, and absolutely, when I am back, I am coming to visit you guys.
En met 'n rol in 'n man soos my pa, dink ek wil ons luisteraars 'n bietjie van jou Afrikaans ook hoor. So vertel ons meer van jou ervaring op stel hier in Suid-Afrika met enige ander Afrikaans films wat jy dalk al gedoen het, en geniet jy dit om in Afrikaans te sê, nou kan ek nie eers my woorde vind nie. Geniet jy dit om 'n akteur te wees in Afrikaanse rolprente?
Jong, ek dink dis vir my seker die lekkerste ding onder die son is, om die geleentheid te hê om in verskillende tale te speel. Ek is gelukkig dat ek tweetalig is. Ek dink ek droom in Engels, maar ek was in Parel Boyseye en het die geleentheid gehad om beide om in Engels en Afrikaans groot te word. So dit is natuurlik 'n groot seëning wat filmwerk betref, om besig te wees. En so Engels, Afrikaans en Duits is my hooftale waarin ek al gespeel het in film en televisie. En man soos my pa was my eerste Afrikaanse hoofrol. Dit was 'n rolprent wat eintlik ook so spesiaal was in terme van die onderwerp, oor die verhouding tussen 'n pa en seun. En dit was verseker 'n fliek wat na in die hart was. In terme van my ander Afrikaanse werk, ek was in die CP Suidooster vir 'n rukkie waar ek Derek Verster gespeel het. Ek het ook in die Byl gespeel, as ook Mooi Rivier. So vir my is dit 'n ontsettende voorreg om in Afrikaans te kan speel. En wat vir my wonderlik is hoe sterk die Afrikaanse bedryf is. Ek dink as dit nie vir sekere kanale was nie, het die plaaslike filmbedryf bietjie plat geval. So ek is ontsettend dankbaar vir ja, net die impak wat die Afrikaanse rolprentbedryf het op ons plaaslike bedryf. En wat soveel werk skep en wat soveel ongelooflike stories vertel.
Hoe wonderlik is dit nie om jou te hoor Afrikaans praat nie. Sjoe, maar jy praat dit definitief baie mooi. En dit is waar wat jy sê, dit is so fantasties dat werk geskep kan word in ons land en dat sulke mooi stories vertel word deur film. So dankie dat jy dit deel en ons sien so uit om vir jou te sien in baie Afrikaanse rolprente. I see you've got quite a number of features that will be releasing over, the next part of this year and in 2022. What can we look forward to? And, of course, we are so excited to have you back here in South Africa soon. I can't wait. When can everyone look forward to seeing you back here, and what do you have lined up?
Martez, thanks so much for that. I really appreciate this incredible support. Yeah, forgive me if I get this wrong. I know that my best source of information will be IMDb, but the last time I counted, it looks like between the end of the year and 2022, I have around about 6 to 7 releases. That includes film and television. I would say some of the highlights are Homestead. I have a lead in a big western called Homestead that we shot in Northern California last year. Really, really cool. I had so much fun on that, and a beautiful, heartfelt story, Homestead. Excuse me, that'll be released on Netflix. Then a big one. This was also a career milestone for me. I'm the leading man in a big sci-fi called Colonials. And that's also with a lot of American actors that South Africans will appreciate. One of them being Sean Kanan from The Bold and the Beautiful and Days of Our Lives. I think he played Deacon. Sorry, I haven't watched too many soapies in my lifetime. But Sean Cannon's in that, and it was amazing to work with him. So it's called Colonials. And that's coming out pretty soon, coming out early in the year, and that'll also be released in theaters in the United States, but also on various platforms. Another project is Trust, which is a Holocaust project where I got to play an SS Nazi officer. So Trust, a big HBO series, Insecure, the season finale. And then I'm not at liberty to talk about the next show, but what I can tell you, it's about American basketball. And then, I have a couple of other things. IMDb will probably be the best source of information. But yeah, between about 6 and 7 projects coming out next year and the remainder of this year. And then another very cool project that I'm working on the producing side is The Other Side, which is a Christian sci-fi anthology feature film. And then, man, you were mentioning, when am I coming back to South Africa? Well, I cannot wait. I'm hoping it's going to be early next year. And I'm also so very, very privileged to be attached to an incredible true life story called Broken Soldier. And thank you, Martez, for connecting and bringing that all about. So, incredible true life story of the Special Forces operator, Rob Brown. Cannot wait to do that. That'll definitely be my first project on the ground when I'm back in South Africa. So yeah, a lot to look forward to, a lot that I'm grateful for, and I especially appreciate the incredible support that I get from my fans in South Africa and my friends and my family. I cannot tell you how much it means to me, and I really, really appreciate the vote of confidence.
Oh, so super exciting. Wow, we've got so much to look forward to see you in. Well done. And yeah, absolute pleasure, Broken Soldier. We are just so thrilled and cannot wait for that project to unfold, and also to see more of your film work coming to screen as well in terms of producer. So everyone out there, watch this space.
Ladies, thank you so much for just this incredible opportunity to get a chat and to share my journey. I believe there's power in story, and I just want to encourage all the listeners, believe in your own specific personal story. Like for someone like me, if you knew where I came from and you know what I've gone through, it's a long shot. It's such a long shot to be doing what I'm doing. And for a lot of you listeners who've had to overcome such incredible, difficult hardships, especially in these times with COVID, and for those of you who've endured so much tragedy and family loss, I just want to encourage you today to just hang in there. All things are possible for those who believe. I really believe that. It really is. And belief starts with the choice, and hope starts with the choice. And, you know, I just want to end off by saying that we cannot change or choose what happens to us, but we can choose how we respond. So thanks for your time, everybody. I trust that this festive season for you and your families will be much better, that will be blessed, and that you'll all remain healthy. And sending lots of love to all of you. Can't wait to be in Cape Town soon.
Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you so much for your time. You're such an inspiration, and we are very proud of you as South Africans and how well you are doing, and you keeping the South African name very high. Thank you so, so much, and a great festive season. And whenever you're in Cape Town, please pop into the Kaapstad radio station. Lots of love for you.